All right, so what is the simplest content strategy for a local service-based business? Well, the great thing about local service-based businesses is that they don't typically have the most sophisticated competition. You can actually gain a competitive advantage from a marketing standpoint fairly easily just by being willing to do things that others are not willing to do and doing so consistently. So I'll give you a few examples as we go through this video. Content strategies, content marketing strategies that you can use for a local service-based business are that can give you a leg up over the competition without really having to do anything different than what you're already doing. Now, I'll tell you right now, a big mistake that a lot of business owners make when it comes to doing their content marketing for their local service business is trying to focus more on quality, especially in the beginning, than on quantity. And so let's say you have a remodeling business or a contracting business or something like that, and you're looking at how you can start to use content marketing, right? Really just keep it simple. Content is something that is designed to answer questions that the market may have and help them to have a transformation mentally as far as what you can do for them and that you're the right choice. Let's say that you have a local contracting business. He has a business that does over $2 million per year in the local contracting space in a pretty competitive market. When I'm referencing him, what I mean by this is the question that people are asking. Say that they're getting a bathroom remodel or a kitchen remodel or anything like that. The question that they're asking is, how do I know that this experience working with your company, Taylor, is going to be different than the other experiences I've had with contracting or with contractors or construction or home remodels or anything like that? How do I know this is going to be different? That's the question that's being asked. Now, what do I mean by transformation? The transformation itself is what takes place when they experience or see the difference. You as a contractor may be able to go out, just as an example of a local service business. You as a contractor may be able to go out and say, yeah, we do things differently. We put customer service first. We're always on time. We do the best work. But that's what the other people told him too. You producing that unique selling point to that individual does not, in and of itself, help them to have a transformational experience or believe that you're the best person to do this. What does, however, help them to have a transformational experience is when they hear somebody who's like them, one of your other customers, share that information and share that they had that experience with you. All these things that they're like, yeah, I've heard that all before. But when a customer says, one of the things we loved about working with XYZ company was that, believe it or not, a lot of contractors say it, but they actually were on time. They were on time to every job. They never missed a deadline. They were easy to work with. I remember my buddy Taylor, he had this testimonial of one of his clients. They're like, yeah, one of the employees, they promised us it would be done by Christmas. And one of his employees was on his hands and knees finishing cleaning up so that they met that deadline, even though it was like 7, 8 o'clock at night, the day before Christmas, right? They're like, they guaranteed it was going to be done. They did everything that it took to do that. When your potential client says that, or when a past client, says that, that's way different than you saying it. Much more trustworthy, much more transformative, and it helps them to believe that when you're answering their questions, that you also are going to be able to help them to have that experience. So when we talk about this, what we're looking for is, one, the content needs to answer a question. Two, it needs to help them to see that this is different than things that they've experienced in the past. So for a local service company, a local business, small business, whatever this is, what is the best way and the simplest way to create content? Well, the first way, simplest way to do this is look at who your customers are. So we'll go back to a remodeling company, right? Got a remodeling company. You're like, we do kitchens and we do bathrooms. So we remodel kitchens, we remodel bathrooms. What you want to do is either go back in your memory or go to your Google reviews. But what you want to do is you want to identify like the top 10 to 20 questions that people ask about both a kitchen remodel and a bathroom remodel. The point here for any local service is the first step of this process is identifying the most important questions that people are asking before they make a decision to work with you. The reason that this is because essentially most content strategy itself comes down to answering questions that your market has. And it's the simplest way to view it, right? If I tell you to sit down and think about creating content for your business, you might be like, I don't even know where to start. But if I sit with you in a room and I ask you a very specific question about your services, well, you can just fire off an answer right away. Why? Because you've answered that question dozens and dozens of times, if not hundreds of times before. And as you have answered that question, you've gotten better and better at answering it to where it's just smooth, right? You're in a zone, you feel it, and you can provide the answer in a way that is going to help them to feel confident in your services and what you provide. So, the first strategy, the easiest way to start producing content is create a list of 10 to 20 of the most important questions that people ask you when they're looking to work with your business for your products or your services in this local market. Then simply get into a room, get on video, and just have somebody or ask the question yourself and answer it in some form of a recording. When you answer that question, the answer to that question is what becomes the content. Now you can give that to a video editor, to somebody who's a writer, ideally video and written. You're going to then send this off to somebody and they're going to take what you said and put it into a format that is presentable to your company. Now, the other thing, an easy way to create content for your business is by documentation. What do I mean by documentation? I want you to be able to create content for your business with things that you're already doing, not things that, right, you're already busy, right? If you're running a local service business, a local business of any kind, a small business of any kind, you are busy. The last thing you want is some guy in an aloha shirt on the Hawaiian Islands telling you to spend time that you don't have. That's ridiculous. So we don't want to do that. We want to basically just put in a recording mechanism of some kind. Basically, what I mean by that is you're probably already doing things that are worthy of content generation. Like you may take before and after pictures of a job that you're working on. Perfect. Now the difference is take 2 seconds longer to make sure it's a nice picture of before and after and use that as your content. Now, if you really want to make this great, you take the before picture and you can do this recording on your phone. So just hit the record button on your phone and basically tell what they're seeing. So this is the before. Then when the project is done, take the picture, open the recording on your phone, tell what you did and why it looks so nice. Again, give this to somebody. You don't even have to give it to a person. You can give it to an AI. ChatGPT on your phone, say, this is before and after photos, and the before notes and the after notes, turn this into a piece of content. Literally say that, copy paste the photos, copy paste the notes. That's it. Have somebody in your office do it. Give it to somebody in your office, your marketing person, your salesperson, whatever it is. Give them those instructions, have them do that with every job, and then post it. Now, I'll give you an example. My dad runs a local service business. He has for nearly 40 years. And my dad has a business that does home inspections for real estate transactions. In the Hawaiian Islands, in the island of Maui specifically, my dad has about 25 to 35% of the entire home inspection market share in this area, in this island. The island's bigger than most people think. That's pretty substantial. He does, with just him and my mom running the business, he does more than most companies do with 5 to 6 people, just because of how streamlined he's been able to make this process over the years. All he does is when he comes across a interesting finding on a home inspection, he of course takes his photos and takes his notes down for the report. Then he takes like a short video of what he's seeing and he explains it. So a couple weeks ago, I get this text message, right? As an example, a couple weeks ago, I get this text message of him opening up some plumbing thing that he was looking at. He opens it up and there's a very large mouse. I think it was a rat, very large mouse sleeping and not moving and not even being bothered. And I'm like, is it dead? And it's like, no, it opens its eyes. It's kind of, looking around. It's actually pretty cute, but it's just sleeping, right? And it's kind of like acknowledges him and moves past. And he's commenting on how cute this mouse is and how funny it is that it's not bothered by him checking this plumbing. It's not relevant to a home inspection, but it is interesting, right? And it is a little bit entertaining as he's kind of checking some of the plumbing around the edge here. And this mouse is sitting right here, just kind of looking at him and going back to what it's doing, right? How is that content? Well, it's content because it was just an experience that he had. And what's funny is he used that video, and there's a few real estate agents that do a lot of work with him. He takes something interesting, gives it to my mom, and they post it on social media, and it works really well for them. But the other thing that he did in this case is he took that video, and there's a couple real estate agents that he works very closely with, and he just texted out to like 5 or 10 people that he works with. Look at what I found on this job. Isn't this cute? Isn't this funny? And he texted out to like 5 or 10 people, and one of them, no joke, texts back and says, hey, that reminds me, I wanted to get with you and give you another job for this next week. It's semi-relevant content that actually produced business because it helped him to stay top of mind with this list of people that he works with. Great example of content being used. He's done other videos where he found something interesting up on a roof. He got up on a roof that was like really high and he was taking a video showing how high up this roof was. Interesting electrical findings, interesting plumbing findings. He records, sends it off to my mom. My mom takes that and puts it on social media. And that's a great way that they create content that helps them to stay top of mind in their market. Just start to get into a habit of, as you are going about your daily activities, look for interesting things that you would like your employees to see or others in your company to see. Look for opportunities to share results of your work. Look for opportunities to request testimonials. Testimonials are great sources of content. You can interview a client after a project is done and ask what they liked about working with you and how it differed from other experiences. This is great relevant content that can be published and promoted in a lot of different places to drive sales for your business. These are just a few ways to create content for your local service business that don't make it so that you're having to be this perfectionist, that are making it so that you have to hire this entire photography and media team for specific activities to capture what you're already doing and then creating a way to share that with other people. And it doesn't have to be you doing it. You can have somebody at the office that does all of it for you and promotes that. It's a great way to start generating content as a local service business owner. If you like these types of videos, subscribe to my channel. I'd love to create more videos like this to help you grow your business with content marketing and other advertising and marketing strategies. And I'll see you in the next video.